Here we're asked to graph two complete cycles for the following functions. So first one here is a cosine function. It looks like it has a k value here of -2. So I'm going to subtract 2, and I know that this is now going to be my midline here at -2. Now my a value here is still 1, so that's my amplitude. And it's a cosine function, so it starts at the top of our maximum. And so when we do this here, we'll also draw a line for the maximum, which is going to be at -1, and a minimum, which is going to be at -3. Because again, the amplitude is just the distance between the midline and the top, or midline and the bottom. And now our period is always 2 pi over b, which in this case, the b value is just 1. So my period is equal to 2 pi. So when I draw this, I'm going to go ahead and start here at 0. I know one period is going to be at 2 pi, and then 2 periods will be at 4 pi here back at the top. And so halfway between that will be at the lowest point, and halfway between those are going to be midline. So we start at the top, goes through the midline, it hits the minimum, goes back to the midline, and back to the top. So that's one period. And again, if I were to label all of these x values, right, it's really going to be going up by pi over 2. And this would be 5 pi over 2, 6 pi over 2, or just 3 pi, and 7 pi over 2. Sorry, it's getting a little crowded here, but one period I have graphed, and then I'm going to connect all these points to get my second cycle here, or my second period, which goes all the way to 4 pi. A little bit slanted there, but you get the general idea. For the second one here, it's a sine function, and it has an h value here of pi over 2. And so when we do this, that means there's no k value, and the amplitude is still 1. So I'm going to start here at my midline is going to be at 0. My maximum will be at +1. My minimum will be at -1. Now this k value here, this h value here shifts it pi over 2 units to the right. And so when I graph this, the sine function should start at the midline. And it's a positive sine function. The a value is positive. So it's going to start by going up first, and then back down through the midline, and then to the minimum, and then back to the midline here. And this will be our one of our periods. And since there's no b value, our period is 2 pi. Oops, that's wrong. The period is definitely 2 pi, but that means this distance here is 2 pi. So that doesn't mean that our ending point is at 2 pi. This is really going to be, pi over 2 plus 2 pi, which is the same thing as pi over 2 plus 4 pi over 2, which tells me that this really should be 5 pi over 2. So here's the first cycle here. Sorry, it's not super symmetrical, but you get the idea. That's one cycle, and then we're going to go another 2 pi. That'll give us 9 pi over 2, which is, again, somewhere, let's extend this a little bit. Somewhere over here, 9 pi over 2. And again, it goes back to the top, the midline, the minimum, and back to the midline. So there's our two cycles starting at pi over 2, the period being 2 pi, and that's where we get our graphs from. Now, normally, personally, I like to kind of give us what the shape continues to look like as it goes on for both of our graphs, like these little dashed lines here, to show that it doesn't just stop. But we were, again, only asked to graph 2 cycles for each of these. So there we go.